Hi, today I'm at the beautiful Embody Wellness studio in Vauxhall where I teach postnatal yoga. So today what we'll do is a very short sequence which connects us to the pelvic floor and to our core. So brilliant after birth, but also brilliant for everyone else, whether you're given birth 10 years ago, 20 years ago, whether you're a man or a woman, whether you've never given birth. So it is a practice that connects us to the pelvic floor, including the bandhas of Mula Bandha and the Srini Mudra. So we'll connect to our very roots, our very base, and then we'll take it a little bit higher into our center and into our core. So all you need is basically lying down on the floor onto a mat, and you'll roll down onto your back. So if you do have a baby with you, your baby can rest on your belly, your baby can rest onto your thighs, wherever it feels comfortable. If it's uncomfortable to have your hip down, you can take a little blanket underneath your hip, just so your neck is nice and long. Your feet are hip distance apart, so probably in alignment with your sitting bones. If that feels a bit too tight, you take your feet a bit wider. So especially if you have just given birth, or if there are any issues in your lower back, maybe your feet might be a tiny bit wider. Your toes are pointing straight towards the front of the mat, your knees are pointing up, your arms are just by your side. So as you're lying here, it should feel reasonably comfortable in your lower back. You'll have your sacrum, that flat part of the spine, on the floor, and you'll have a little bit of a curve in the longer spine. Shoulder blades on the floor, back of the neck is nice and free, and the back of the head is resting onto the mat. So all we're going to do now is just to notice how we're breathing. So you can bring your hands onto your abdomen. You just allow the inhale just to move into the belly, and then as you exhale, you draw the belly down. And the natural movement of breath is to expand the abdomen on the inhale, and as you exhale, the abdomen will draw down again. So this is just a natural movement. The breath pushes the diaphragm into the abdomen on the inhale. The exhale, the diaphragm, the muscle underneath the lungs, lifts back up again. And so maybe this is an unnatural breath for you, maybe it feels strange. And if it does, then you just continue this movement, or you just feel your hands resting on your abdomen with the breath. Every inhale, just feel the warmth of your hands on your belly. Every exhale, you just feel the belly dropping back. It's a natural movement of the breath. You can breathe in and out through your nose. Long inhale and long exhale. So if you have just given birth, it's just a nice connection to your abdomen again, just actually reclaiming this space that you shared with your baby. So maybe you choose to stay here, or you start with every exhale, really press your feet into the floor. And then the inhale, you just relax again, abdomen expands. Exhale, press your feet down, feel the thigh bones coming into your hip sockets. And then on the inhale, breathe in again. So exhale, feet press down, thigh bones are moving into the hips. So you're starting really from your base, your feet, your thigh bones into the pelvis, exhaling. So you're connecting to your very base. Just do a few more of those. Exhale, press your feet into the floor. Feel the thigh bones dropping into your hips. And then on the inhale, you just feel the abdomen expanding. So again, maybe this is where you choose to stay. As you see, when I start to do that, maybe you can notice my lower back starts to flatten a little bit more towards the floor. So it's not me pushing the belly down deliberately, it's just that action of pressing the feet and thigh bones down makes a little pelvic tilt. And so maybe when we start to do this, it's a natural connection to the pelvic floor. So all the muscles that are kind of hanging between the two sitting bones, the tailbone and the pubic bone. So now as you exhale, you can start to imagine the whole of the pelvic floor lifting into your body. So exhale, you feel that lift. Inhale, you just feel expansion, you let it go. So the pelvic floor muscles are different from squeezing your buttocks or squeezing your inner thighs. So those muscles are very supportive for the pelvis, but it's different muscles than from the pelvic floor. So we will connect a little bit more with the pelvic floor in a moment, but first we'll start to connect more to the abdomen. So now as you exhale a little bit deeper, and you can imagine the pubic bone moving towards your navel. So if that makes sense. So the exhale, the pubic bone moves to the navel. Inhale, the abdomen expands again. Again, you feel pubic bone to navel with every exhale. You're shortening that space. The inhale, nice and expansive. So when we start to do that, we use muscles very internally in our abdomen. And we strengthen that whole space that's supporting our internal organs, our reproductive system. So as we exhale a little bit deeper, the spine starts to flatten to the floor. It's not a natural connection or a natural curve in the spine when we do that, but we use the muscles just to connect the front of the body to the back of the body. So again, maybe you just choose to stay here, feeling pubic bone to navel. So it's very deep muscles. It's not just drawing the navel in. You're using all these muscles in the lower abdomen. So keep that going, feet pressing down there. We exhale, thigh comes into the pelvis, pubic bone lifts to the navel, pelvic floor lifts. We're going to add one more thing. Bring your hands just at your lower ribs, so you have a space just between the two ribs. And you can have your hands just resting on your ribs, so you have a little bit of space between your ribs. You stay lying down, and you have that little space, so kind of where your solar plexus is, and this is where we're going to connect with the next breath. So again, exhaling, your feet are pressing down, thigh bones in, pubic bone to navel, and now it's like your front ribs are hocking into your center. Inhale, everything just feels open and spacious. Exhale, again, it's like you're tightening the ribs in towards each other. Inhale, you feel spacious again. So we're saturating our natural exhale and the movements of the natural exhale. So obviously brilliant after giving birth, as soon as you start to feel that you can move your body, usually after 6 or 8 weeks. If you had cesarean section, obviously you want to take it slow. But this is good for most of us, whether we're giving birth or not. So you can keep all of this going. So we start to connect the whole, this soft part of the abdomen. If you had abdominal separation, again, this is drawing everything back in again. And we can keep this going, but now the focus will be more on the pelvic floor. So we'll stay in the same position. You can have your hands maybe on your belly, maybe one hand on your chest, one on your abdomen. You can relax your hands by your side, or if a baby is on you, you can hold on to your baby. So now to start to focus again on the exhale, you bring the awareness to the highest point of your pelvic floor and the area around the tailbone. So the focus here will be the anal sphincter, and in yoga we call this the Ashwini Mudra. So an energy, powerful mudra, called by the name of the horse. So we can imagine being strong and powerful like a horse. So on the exhale, you imagine the anal sphincter lifting into your body. You can engage all of this again. So the exhale, we lift in and up. And then the inhale, you just feel nice and open. So again, the exhale, you can feel the anal sphincter, imagine lifting in and up. And the inhale, just feel nice and spacious. So you can really exaggerate all these movements. So it's a sensation really of having to pass wind, and you have to hold it. And then the inhale, you relax it. So we very often hold a lot of tension here, so it can be difficult to let that go. Probably more tension than actually strength, so we let it go on the exhale. Inhale. So just 2 more breaths, just connecting to this highest point of the pelvic floor. And if everything moves, that's fine. If nothing moves, it's fine too. So most of us have not really worked a lot with the pelvic floor and not really aware muscles we can connect with. Now this time, just on your inhale, just let it go. Step your feet a little bit wider. Outer edges of your feet are parallel to the edges of your mat. You can drop your knees towards each other. So your feet are apart and your knees drop into each other. Again, your hands can be where it feels comfortable. We'll use this same breath. So the inhale, nice and spacious in the abdomen. This time as you exhale, connect to the urinary tract. So the urinary tract squeezes. So as if you have to pee and you hold it. And then the inhale, you relax it. Again, the exhale now, the focus is on the urinary tract. And again, you can feel almost a lift from the urinary tract to the pelvic floor muscles. And maybe that starts to have that ripple effect when you start to connect to the core and the kind of top part of your abdomen as well. And sometimes, if it is challenging to feel the space of your body, you can use the action of pressing your feet down and feel the thigh bones hugging in. So it's a connection to the pelvis. Just do one more complete exhale, maybe exhale a little bit longer. And the inhale, nice and expansive. We're going to step the feet in again. And if you have a block, you can use a block. If not, maybe you have a rolled up towel and you can place your block or your towel between your thighs. You don't need this, you can have your legs in whatever variation feels comfortable. We're now going to connect to the birth canal or to the vaginal walls. So it's a different kind of muscles, or different muscles than the sphincter muscles at the front and the back. But it almost feels the same. So you can, again, as you exhale, imagine or feel the vaginal walls lifting in towards each other, into your body. And then as you inhale, you just feel spacious again. So when you start to connect with these muscles, again, it might take many weeks, many months to really get an idea of what we actually work with. For some of us it might feel very easy, some of us it's going to be very, very challenging. But we just keep the intention and the awareness, even if that awareness is just raw feet and thigh bones in. When we have a bit more awareness, now at every exhale you can maybe just notice where do you lift, where is that connection to the vaginal walls. Is it at the very top at the cervix, or is it at the very bottom part of the pelvic floor? So we can start to just play around with it a little bit more. Maybe you can even feel the lift right from the base and then all the way up, almost towards the cervix. So traditionally in yoga, that lift, the mula bandha, the root bandha, or the root seal, is said to be at the cervix in women and the perineum in men. So most of us don't really have a sense of where the cervix is. So we'll have the connection to the pelvic floor or the perineum, whether we're male or female. But if you start to just notice a sensation, is it at the very base, is it at the very top of the vagina? So we can explore our body in ways. And maybe you just use this block to just hug in a bit, just so you have that sensation of feet, thighs, hips, all in the same direction. You can even start to squeeze the block a little bit more on the exhale. So again, this starts to allow the inner thighs to move a little bit and create strength in the inner thighs. So these are muscles that again support the pelvis. So this is very useful if you have any sort of pelvic instability, squeezing into the block with every exhale. And just do 2 more breaths. Inhaling nice and spacious. Exhaling, feeling the vaginal walls lifting in and up. Inhale, spacious. And again, just feel the lifting in and up. And then just go ahead and relax the body. If you use the block, just let go of it. Maybe you hop your knees towards your chest. But even as you hop your knees towards you, be aware you're not lifting your hips too high, just feel gravity, your knees are dropping down. You can even hold to the back of your legs. And maybe start to circle your knees out. So just finding a little bit of space in the hips, so the hips can be another very sore area. Give yourself a nice hug, just appreciate your body and all the change your body is doing all the time. Just roll onto your right side, just lie down on your right side for a moment. So especially if you have just given birth and you have abdominal separation, lifting up from lying down can be quite challenging, so you can use all the muscles in your core. You can put your left hand in front of your chest, so you can use that hand to push yourself all the way up. You come into a comfortable seat. So namaste and thank you.